Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion. Plays The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. Plus, we got a win last time. Was it a good win? It was an okay win. Why are you trying to besmirch my wins? It wasn't there was badness, there was goodness. It was alive. 3M2N0 FB0. FB0. That'll be the day, right? It was a tough choice there. Good item or useless item? Let me think about that. You guys ever think about how smart Tom from MySpace was? Like, I just think about all the other, like, social media CEOs, you know? Mark Zuckerberg has been in front of congressional privacy hearings, like, you know, a dozen times and is universally reviled, even by people who still use his service. He has a whole movie made about him being kind of obsessive and sociopathic, and the movie is, like, considered one of the finest films of the decade. That sucks. I mean, deserved? I don't know him in person. I can't say that, but, you know, seems like it. Jack Dorsey from Twitter, also in front of congressional hearings now and then. Constantly inundated by people who, you know, want him to change Twitter's moderation policies and stuff like that, etc., etc. Tom from MySpace sold the stupid website for like $100 million and has never been heard from again. What a legend. He did it right. He did the thing that everybody says they're gonna do, but for whatever reason, Silicon Valley startup culture doesn't let you do. You know? It doesn't attract the kind of people, apparently, where they're like... Everybody else in normal parts of North America... By the way, I say this as somebody who loves San Francisco, and if I had to live in the U.S., my first choices would be... San Francisco and Seattle. Probably Seattle first, because I'm not trying to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy like tomorrow. Maybe in like 2 years. San Francisco, it would bleed me dry. Everybody else is like their dream. And this is, I say this because I grew up in essentially middle America, but middle Canada. You know? Everybody's dream is like, I came up with an idea for a better windshield wiper. I just happened to be sitting next to an engineer from Chrysler one day. He asked me about my idea and then said, hey, we want to buy it off of you for $5 million. Then I knew it. Why would I jump in on that one? You take the $5 million, never return. Do you know? That's the every person's dream. Mark Zuckerberg made Facebook, you know? Got to that billionaire club and said, you know what? This isn't enough for me. Keep drilling. Should have stopped drilling, brother. You could, I mean, maybe you're living, look, I've never been at that echelon, you know? So I don't know if maybe once you get up there, you're like, I don't care so much about the way that I'm, you know, viewed in the public. I would rather just keep working because I believe I'm doing good work and, you know, yada, yada, yada. Maybe. But I'm like, dude, Tom from MySpace. Now, there was a guy who had his head screwed on straight. I hope that he's, like, you know, out in the Cayman Islands. People are like, what is it you say you did, Tom? And he's like, yeah, I invented a stupid website and I got an idiot to pay me literally $100 million for it. It's insane. Plus, I got out before all this Cambridge Analytica stuff started to happen. I've been drinking Mai Tais on the beach for a decade. Haven't even touched the principal yet. I hope he's living his best life. This is where, like, I make this video and then in a week before the video comes out, he has an incredible controversy, and I'm like, oh no. You guys ever, I don't want to get into touchy subjects, okay? And I am very much not a conspiracy guy at all. Like, I'm so non-conspiracy that I probably look like an agent of conspiracy in some way. Because even when there's things that are like unbelievable coincidences, and people go, you really believe that's a coincidence? I'm like, look, there are trillions of things every day that could happen that would be viewed as too perfect to be a coincidence. But because of the large sample size, those coincidences appear to happen more often than you would otherwise expect. Like, that's how fake enlightened I am. But Kevin Spacey on Christmas posting a video called Kill Him With Kindness, where he's still bizarrely stuck in the Frank Underwood character, and then like 3 days later, one of the people who accused him of, you know, impropriety dying. That's one where I'm like, what's happening here? Like, as a rational adult, I do believe it's a conspiracy, or not a conspiracy, sorry. I do believe it's a coincidence, but I'm also like, is he becoming a supervillain? Like, look, if 4 or 5 more of his accusers die this year, I'm gonna start to be asking questions. That's all I'm saying. I also have no idea why he's still Frank Underwood. It's like the curse of the method actor. If you get canceled while you're playing a character, you have to stay as that character until you uncancel yourself. It's very weird. I also, like, I don't know, it's just... I'm not privy to the situation, okay? So I want to be clear that this is for satirical purposes only. I would like to think... I mean, I would never be in the Spacey situation for a number of reasons. But if I were in his shoes somehow, due to some cruel twist of fate, I would like to think if my accusers kept dying, and I didn't have any hand in it, I might, at this point, make a comment. And the comment might be like, geez Louise, this keeps happening and is messed up. My condolences, even though we have our differences or something. Like, just, but look, you don't even have to do that. Maybe you can't comment on an ongoing legal proceeding, but definitely making a video that says kill them with kindness that appears to be gloating at their deaths is probably the wrong move from an optics standpoint. It's just weird, dude. Like, and then you see, Papa John, you know, like a month ago, he was like, there will be a day of reckoning. And then, like, the Domino's CFO died. Look, there's probably, you know, 100 individuals at the executive level in Domino. I don't know, there might be 2,500 executives at Domino's. So I'm saying, you freaking idiot. I blame that all on that one Tinted Rock that didn't work out for us. This is a much better start anyway. Is it? And now I start talking about it and I ruin my streak of 1? Wake up, sheeple. Anyway, I'm just saying. Note to self, if I ever find myself in a situation like that, don't make vaguely threatening comments, because even if it feels good at the time, if something does happen, it's gonna cast some suspicion onto you. You know, it's like, have you seen the true crime documentary, The Staircase? Basically, it's a husband and wife. Wife dies falling down a staircase. Really seems like the husband has something to do with it. And you go back and forth throughout it's the best true crime documentary made, although I have heard that The Jinx is also amazing. And I have no memory of watching it, but for some reason I know how it ends. I think I read the Wikipedia synopsis. But anyway, The Staircase is on Netflix, and highly, highly recommended if you're into true crime stuff. But, you know, sometimes you're like, okay, maybe like she actually did fall down the stairs, and, you know, his call to 911, he isn't that emotional or hysterical, but also he just seems like kind of an unusual guy from that standpoint. Like, have you seen Gone Girl? And, you know, even though in Gone Girl, I mean, if you've read the book, it's the same thing, but, you know, Ben Affleck? Ben Affleck didn't cause his wife to disappear. But because of the way he interacts at these sort of like public events, like he smiles for a photo while his wife's missing, people are like, he's guilty. So I don't want to be like that, you know, because he's not that emotional when he calls 911, but maybe I wouldn't be that emotional when I called 911. But then later you find out that, like, you know, he had a previous wife in Europe who also died falling down the stairs under mysterious circumstances, and you go, okay, sir, I just have to tell you, I almost think there's like some universe level, you know, breakage. You know what I mean? Either you killed these ladies in the same way, or alternatively, you're actually like perhaps the world's most unlucky man. Both of your wives have died under mysterious circumstances from falling down the stairs. Now, you know, I'm not a member of the legal community, which I think means I'm able to speculate. My take by the end of the movie is I was like, this guy did it. As with most of those true crime documentaries, you always leave with the exact same opinion, which is he did it, but they didn't give him a fair trial. That's like that's the number one of true crime documentaries. But regardless, there is a little part of me that is like, you know what? There is a non-zero chance. I'm not saying it's over 1%. But there's a non-zero chance that this man has been completely innocent of both deaths. And just is like every night going, who would have, 1 in a million shot, officer, you wouldn't believe it. It's wild. Anyway, I don't even know where I was going with this one. I still feel like, you know, today's the 29th of December. Still feel like we're in that period of the year that doesn't exist. I like it. I do like it. But it's very strange. Also, I keep bringing up to people in real life that this week doesn't exist, and they don't commiserate with me at all. Like when I was getting my membership at the gym yesterday, the lady was like, man, I can't believe it's December 28th already. And I was like, yeah, I know. It's like this week doesn't even exist because of the holidays. And she just kind of went like, you know? I feel like I'm the lady from that I Think You Should Leave sketch, where I'm like, you know, yes, we must have been really nice for Santa to bring us our present this early. Christine makes one joke, and you all poop yourselves laughing. Meanwhile, I make dozens of on par or even better jokes, and you ice me? Santa brought it early. Anyway, it's, you know, if we're doing it, I think you should leave tier list of sketches. That one, for me, that's definitely in the bottom half. It's got some memorable moments, but I would put that one on the low end. Okay, please give me a deal with the devil. Basically, let me crap on this run. I'm ready to crap on it. Sure, I mean, it's, you know, it's helpful. We're getting closer to Spun. Nobody seems to share my strange opinions about the world. Which is fair. You know, I have a unique perspective, I suppose, that I think, you know, is... Makes for a good YouTuber, you know? Makes for a person who's a good, gives good commentary on the world. If that makes sense. I posted a meme on Twitter the other day. I was surprised. It didn't take off, you know, like... Look, there's Twitter accounts out. I get so, not mad, but like annoyed with Twitter sometimes. Because like... I want this to be clear. I'm going to reference another YouTuber. It's not from a position of jealousy at all. It's just an observation, and also it stokes the fire deeper inside of me. Like, have you seen Amadeus? Basically, the context of this metaphor is Markiplier is Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, and I am the jealous Salieri with the green-eyed monster. that is envious of Mozart's talent, but recognizes slowly over the course of the film, directed by Milos Forman, that Mozart is in a way touched by God, and Salieri himself becomes not even jealous of Mozart, but instead furious at the Lord himself that he would imbue such a petulant child with such a stroke of genius. Unique perspective, I suppose. But like I tweeted a meme, and I'll talk about the meme in a second. The meme, it had a lot of work go into it. Yikes, that's not good. And by a lot of work, I mean more work than most of my tweets, which is like about 30 seconds. It got 1,500 likes. It was pretty good, honestly. That for my standards, is pseudo-viral. Then I go over to Markiplier's Twitter account. He tweets like, who's up? Within 2 minutes, 20,000 likes. It's stunning. I don't have anywhere else to go with that. It's just like, I'm putting it in perspective. Like, I looked at it and I was like, 1,500 likes. A lot of people enjoyed this tweet. Then I see, you know, other YouTubers just tweet like, Happy Saturday, and it gets like 35,000 likes, and I'm like, what? Maybe a lot of people didn't enjoy the tweet. Maybe they just saw it and hit the heart and went, haha. But anyway, it was the Vince McMahon meme, where, you know, he gets progressively more excited as words flash by the screen. And it said, desserts. No excitement. Mains. Little excitement. Appetizers. Oh, big excitement. Sides. He's fallen out of his chair. And I really feel, I thought that was relatable late millennial humor. Because, I mean, I believe it 100%. The only thing I will say is I might swap appetizers and sides. And I basically, was laborious when it came to the meme discovery for this. I did a lot of research, and I just thought in my head, there's two sequences of words. Desserts, mains, sides, appetizers. Desserts, mains, appetizers, sides. And something in my brain went, sides at the end is funnier. It just has a punchier punchline, because it's a shorter word. But in real life, I might prefer sides. It depends on the place. I don't expect everyone to agree, but I'm here to tell you. I've become a sides-focused individual at a restaurant. Sometimes I'll order based on the protein. That was how I grew up, you know? You look through the list of foods for the protein you want. I want chicken. Okay, here you go. And you take whatever sides you get with it. As I've gotten a little bit older, I read the whole thing and contextualize it. Oh, this is a Chilean sea bass. Ah, but it comes with enoki mushrooms on the side. Not my favorite. How about this one? Roasted fingerling potatoes. What's the protein? Decrowed piece of dog crap? Alright, I'll take that. I can get down with the fingerlings. Ooh, I don't dispute the appetizers as well. You know what one of my favorite appetizers is? That it doesn't get that much play? Cucumbers in sesame oil. And I know you're like, what are you talking about? It's... In 5 years, you're going to look at this, and I may well be the Amadeus. You're going to be the Salieri this time. Let me know how it feels. By the way, if you haven't seen Amadeus, what the heck are you doing? It's a transcendental film. It's a great movie. The only people I've heard who have a problem with Amadeus are those people who review movies by being weirdly literal. They're like, well, in real life, Salieri was actually, he was a friend of Mozart. Yeah, okay. That was in the 1600s, dude. We're making entertainment here. Get over it. You're trying to defend the honor of Salieri? He's not gonna sleep with you, dude. Move on. Why you gotta... This is the people who, like, review movies as if, like, you know, A movie is like an objective product to be graded based on how plausible its events are in real life. Well, I just don't see that happening. Like, if I were in that situation, I would... Just shut up, okay? Is it good or is it bad? Surely you can come up with a better criticism than, like, it's bad because... Batman couldn't possibly have made... See, now I'm insulting myself. Batman couldn't have possibly made it from that Moroccan prison back to Gotham City in that limited amount of time. See, that's you. Smooth brain problems with The Dark Knight Rises. Here's me, galaxy brain problems with The Dark Knight Rises. Christopher Nolan, I still can't understand a freaking word that Bane says. To this day. It's spun, dude. Let me out. Where are my consumables? Man, I wish it was 2013. You know why? We could do Bane at the McDonald's drive-thru. It would crush, dude. That's such a good pill there. Oh, welcome to McDonald's. What can I get you? Sorry, can I get a McDonald's, please? Sorry, can I put that? I would like to have a McDonald's. This bit is where you're like, he's losing his mind. But really, this video, it probably would have gotten 30 million views on 2013's YouTube. Would you like to make that a meal? What comes with a so-called meal? What is a meal? A miserable little pile of scrap? I made a meal of misery! They really should have had Daniel Day-Lewis play Bane. He would. I mean, Tom Hardy did a great job, I think, just in terms of making a ridiculous character in a way that's actually cool and memorable. But also, Daniel Day-Lewis would have freaking crushed it, dude. If I said I was a pizza cook, would you agree? That's a Patton Oswalt joke, I think. It's been a while. Anyway. Yeah, go see Amadeus, you weirdo. You can skip one episode of, like, Demon Slayer. You're not gonna miss... It's a filler arc right now anyway. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's how you get yourself in trouble. NL Demon Slayer. You can make fun of the other animes. You don't make fun of Demon Slayer, okay? It won Crunchyroll's best anime of the freaking decade. Look, I'm not taking any of this garbage. Hold on, I have 6 Discord messages. They are all from Daniel. It was one sentence spread over 6 lines. You don't, I'm not keeping it from you because it's, like, secret. I'm keeping it from you because it's irrelevant. And that's not this, I mean, it's relevant to me. It's not relevant to you. Well, you know, I'll bring it up because we got nothing else to talk about. We've been talking to Dan about TikTok because Dan's been using TikTok as like a marketing tool and also a fun platform for his media. And like, I'm gonna come at this from like a Salieri perspective, you know, a cynical perspective, but like positively cynical, if that makes sense. From a business standpoint exclusively, his stuff has been doing really well on TikTok. Some of it goes nowhere. It gets like, you know, 100 views. I don't mean to describe that as nowhere, but honestly, Dan wouldn't take offense to that. Some of it is insane. Like, he's had stuff go viral on TikTok and get, you know, like 150,000 views or something like that. And, so I've been asking him. Because part of it is like, here's the thing. I don't want to go on TikTok just to appeal to the Zoomers. But I do, especially like 2020, like my resolution for 2019 was like, hey man, your business is doing fine. Keep your... Basically, here's the thing. On the business side of things, I know as long as I just keep working hard and, you know, making the content that people like to see, I'll be around for a while. You know, there may come a point at some point where, you know, people are just like, I'm sick of this old fart. But for now, like, I've got an audience that likes my stuff. The only way I could screw up is by, you know, stopping the stuff that they like, or alternatively by changing my personality so much that I'm a different individual. And even though we've changed thumbnails and stuff like that, we haven't definitely, you know, same old boomer. You know what I mean? Bottom right. Terrible choice. Absolutely horrible decision. Let's go find our item room. But I have looked at TikTok and I've been like, you know what? It would be cool to start making some more content there. And by some more, I mean some at all. Just because, I mean, there's a couple of different reasons. One of them is, yeah, like to see stuff go viral. I mean, this is not meant to be offensive to Dan at all, but like 150, first off, if a video of mine got 150,000 views, I would be like, that's crazy. But on a platform like TikTok, where Dan has like, he's only been at it for a couple of months, he only has like, you know, I don't know, maybe under 5,000 followers. Those numbers are like crazy, dude. Secondly, I want to be more entertaining in 2020, you know? I want to put more of a... Yikes. Yikes. The old little baggy Retrovision 1-2. I want to stop being so anal about taking myself so seriously and start getting back to the core of, you know, where I want my YouTube channel to be, which is I can be the guy who can tell you who directed Amadeus and distills its story down to the plight of man. But also, I'm not so, you know, inflated with a sense of ego and purpose that I am like, oh, I don't engage in memes. That's prosaic, you know? That's not the kind of guy I want to be. So I think, you know, I could always put in a little bit more effort towards making like some edited super short clips and putting them on a platform like that. But I've also been talking to Dan about it, and he's been like, I really like it. And I'm like, I get it, but I don't know, like, what... I don't make the kind of content that's, like, easily digestible in 15-second bursts. The amount of editing required there, I just don't know yet. I just don't know how to do it. Please, God, by the way, can you give me some freaking consumables, dude? Thank you! So, yeah, I mean... There's a couple of things to say. The first thing to say is, you know, and I've talked about this probably to the point where you're like, I just do not care anymore, but that's cool too. You know, thank you for embracing the Northernlion tries stuff, you know? Basically, I wouldn't call it a crisis, but I was thinking about YouTube and I'm like, man, I'm just, you know, I'm always trying to introduce more variety, but I feel like I've handcuffed myself with this idea of like, you know, if people like something, play it forever. And it's been great for building an audience that watches the stuff that you watch, but it loses stuff on the new participant side, you know? So this has been better for discovery, and subscribers have enjoyed watching it as well. And yeah, we've pivoted to flashier thumbnails and titles for sure. I think that's, you know, kind of the necessary evil to some extent. I know, you know, my limits for clickbait. People have, you know, I called a video meme animal fighting game. I got a couple of people that were like, shake my head, when did you resort to clickbait? Go look at some other YouTube videos. Like, a lot of... You think that's clickbait. How about all caps, you know, I punched a dog in the face. That's, like... The real clickbait, in my opinion, is, like... The titles that just lie to you. Or, alternatively, you won't believe what number 6 is, you know? Like that stuff. That's over the line for me. But yeah, I've been putting more work into the discoverability side of YouTube here, and people seem to be enjoying the content, which is nice. So I do appreciate that. And you know, I'm looking at ways in 2020, not diversifying necessarily, but just you know, avenues that probably previously I would have been like, I don't want to do that. Sure, maybe we'll try to make some TikTok clips or something like that. I don't even know if it has any like carryover to a YouTube or Twitch viewership, but just making entertainment feels good. I can play like, you know, a couple less games of Tetris a night and actually try to edit some clips or something like that. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, you know? That's the it's the meat and potatoes of it. The master has failed more than the beginner has ever tried. That being said, I should look into that. The TikTok stuff, was it TikTok that was revealed to be a intelligence arm of the Chinese CIA? Or was that was that exclusively... I'm being sincere, because there was an app called Totalk, and I was like, is that a knockoff, or is that just a regionalized version of TikTok? Anyway. It's all, you know, this digital landscape is still bizarre, you know? Still, everyone's trying to feel their way through it. Nobody knows what's up. One year you're on top of the world, you're playing, PUBG. Next year, everyone's like, I hate PUBG. The new hot game is Untitled Goose Game, and we're watching Tim the Gamer now. And you're like, Tim the Gamer stole my audience. Is this just like permanent? I'm excited. Did I miss something here? Do we have broken stopwatch? What's happening? I feel like I'm screwed on this run. I don't know that I'm screwed, but I feel screwed. I also feel, I'll just level with you, that I played pretty badly. I've been focused on the banter. I also feel like the items have been consistently pretty terrible, to be honest. That's okay. I feel like I'm oversensitive to that stuff right now because I've been playing so much Hades, and even when an item in Hades is bad, it at least does something. And that's not necessarily an indication that Hades has better design than Isaac. It's different design, and one might be preferable to another, but I don't think it's a better or worse situation. You know, I think Isaac is more designed to be like a slot machine where, you know, some of the pulls are losses, really. You walk into an item room, it goes boom, 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 and then you're like, oh, okay, it's garbage. I spent a key and I got nothing in return. Hades is like, you know, at least... Hold on, let me see what that is. Pretty much garbage, but Hades is like, hey, I don't think this boon's going to be that useful for us, but it's literally, we had to keep moving anyway, and it's better than nothing, I suppose. I don't like our odds too much here, though. Also, like, our damage is really bad, and we have Tiny Planet, and most of our damage is probably done at this point via Explosivo. So, you know, it's not very good on this mom fight. This is a situation, okay, to be honest, we should have kept the Bible exclusively to handle this fight. Normally, that would be seen as a pretty big waste, but to be honest, we're unlikely to use the Razor Blade for health concerns regardless, so... This would be an amazing time to beat the odds and get a deal with the devil, which actually just happened. There's like a 4.5% chance of that happening, and Little Brim is at least good enough to be excited about for the future, so I'm excited about that. Okay. I guess, like, the takeaway message that I have is, in 2020, I'm going to be less stubborn about Twitch and YouTube and more open to trying new things. Because I feel like, and, you know, it's not like a major mistake. It's just like a learning process. I, at some point, got stuck in this idea that, you know, I don't do the things that other YouTubers do. And which is fair to some extent, because I think there are some things that I don't want to do that other YouTubers... It's not all other YouTubers, but some YouTubers do. You know, I don't want to make, like, overly suggestive thumbnails. I don't want to exclusively dedicate my channel to playing meme games and stuff like that. I don't want to lie to people in clickbait titles. I don't want to do shoutouts for Raid Shadow Legends in the middle of my videos, and etc., etc. But I also think this led to me, I don't want to say getting stuck, but... You know, it led to me producing pretty much exclusively one kind of content, which is this, like, pseudo-rambling stream of consciousness, Isaac-style commentary that, you know, we did for Gungeon and Streets of Rogue and, you know, Civilization and blah, 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 blah. So we mixed it up a little bit this year with Game Choice, which was nice. But I think also, you know, from doing the Northernlion tries and, you know, playing some games that are, like, legitimately cool and some games that are not up my alley but are kind of funny, I think that's also opened me up to making a more entertaining style of content in addition, not instead, but in addition to the other style of content we're making. So this year, I'm like, you know, it's a good resolution, I think, as a content creator to not be afraid to mix it up a little bit more next year. And, I just, like, I do get annoyed or frustrated sometimes. People are like, you know, I'm not surprised, I guess, but I'm surprised to some degree how many people care about specifically the thumbnail. Like, there are people out there online that are like, if you don't make your video as unclickable as possible, like, you've lost some integrity, which is very wild to me. And I know this is an issue. I'm preaching to the choir for the most part. I just picture them going into a restaurant and being like, you know, are your chicken tenders really sizzling? I'd say that's slightly misleading. You gotta put a little flourish in it sometimes, you know? I was putting in all the work on the front end, recording the video, you know, talking about Salieri, and none of the work on the back end. The Binding of Isaac, episode 1501. Salieri! So I've been experimenting with working some new stuff in. That's my thoughts on that. And I would be apologetic, except for the fact that the content, you know, I think has been really good. Those Northernlion Tries videos have rejuvenated. They've contributed to less burnout, for sure, than just, you know... I mean, I could play Isaac forever, because I'm broken in some way. But, either way, they're fun to make, because they're different, you know? Dude, I'm telling you, I think we're in a screwed position on this run. I think we would really, really like to beat the odds again. Or just, like, give me a tiers upgrade. Like, would it kill you to give me a tiers upgrade? What's the other pill then? Wow, I'm sure glad I got rid of Slot Machine to pick up, I'm excited. I mean, it was entirely my own fault, so I don't know what I'm complaining about. Is this the year we finally see Doki Doki Literature Club? No. Probably not. So I do like the orbital. I think it's worth trying. I do like the orbital, but terrible place for that bomb. This is where you got to recognize you've been making some boneheaded plays. But I'm open to doing more stuff now. I mean, keep in mind, in 2018, basically for the entire year of 2018, I know that's a year ago now, I just played Isaac and Slay the Spire. I mean, I did do other stuff, but there's just a lot of Isaac and Slay the Spire for like a whole year. And it's not like I wasn't working hard. I was making A lot of videos, and then B, you know, we were focusing maybe a little bit more on the Twitch stuff. So it just comes in, you know, you focus a little bit on this, and then you know, you focus a little bit on that, and then you focus a little bit on this. And definitely, like, in 2019, I think we made some good content, but I also put a big focus... We're gonna die. Put a big focus on, like, in particular, my personal health, which is, like, is part of the job, to be honest. I know I get, I wouldn't say preachy, but perhaps it does make some people uncomfortable sometimes, and I'm like, you know, I feel like a lot of YouTubers and streamers, like, are setting themselves up for failure, working, like, the work... working long hours is one thing, and I would be hypocritical if I was like, you should take more breaks. But, like, you know, working long hours without eating, no exercise at all, like, not sleeping as much as they should, like, okay, be very cautious here. Thought maybe we could sneak an HP upgrade. You know, that stuff is like, it might seem like, and it, you know, it's taken me a long time to learn this. It might seem like it takes away from your ability to work, and you're doing like a good thing because you're sacrificing something of yourself. Thank you. Thank you. You're sacrificing something of yourself to, like, you know, create entertainment. But I feel like in the long run, you're just, oh, we already had Bookworm. In the long run, you're creating a situation where, like, you're going to be forced to retire or at least take a sabbatical due to, like, mental or physical breakdown. You know, I think, and I don't think this exclusively applies to, you know, content creators. For sure, you know, I think you gotta, if you're out there, you're working hard occupationally, you know, it's good to work hard. Don't get me wrong. I always find myself, like, somewhere in the middle of, like, it flares up on Twitter all the time, like these, like a hustle Twitter. People who are like, if you want to ever be successful, you gotta work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week for 10 years. And then people go like, why just walk on it? People, I think rightfully, are like, that's a harmful attitude. But I am also like, you know, without being rude or even taking a side, I do think that's basically like the way that things worked for me on YouTube and Twitch. Except, and I think this is what a lot of people are not like, that are on that side of hustle Twitter, they don't recognize that there's a lot of luck involved. And, you know, kind of right place, right time. Like, if you're the first company to invent Uber, you're sitting pretty. If you're the third company to invent Uber, you could put in the same amount of work and get nowhere, right? This is very spooky. But at the same time, I think you gotta treat yourself like, you know, like a Formula One automobile. The most successful Formula One automobiles are fast, but they also don't break down. They break down less often than the other ones. You know, you could put a space shuttle engine on a car, but, you know, if it falls apart on the first turn, it doesn't matter if it's got pole position. You know what I mean? Okay, be very careful. Be very, very careful about this room. Watch out, watch out. Yeah, we missed. Okay, try again. Yeah. I almost walked into Dark Bomb, which would have definitely killed us. I do think it's worth the bombs, though. So every 6 rooms, we're getting 2 spirit hearts. So we really just have to live through this room, and we will probably not, and I'm not just saying that. We will now. Okay, so all is forgiven, but that was... Are you kidding me? The man said, give me something spooky. Very scary moments. Very scary moments. Balls of steel, though. Thank you. May I? I thought you had an explosivo stuck to you, sir. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on the subject. I get it, though. People are like, I like Northernlion. Any change to the Northernlion brand threatens my like of Northernlion. It's not true. Here's the way I would think of it is like, imagine if you like a podcast and they got a new thumbnail, you know? I've been doing this for the longest time, and I don't mean like, you know, for a long time. I mean literally the longest time of just about anybody on planet Earth. Not saying I got all the answers, but trust me not to torpedo myself, okay? And we're going to have some fun along the way. Good stuff. Great stuff. We're unkillable now. It's amazing how happy that, or how quickly that happened. How happy that quickened. I'm also, the other thing about this week, I know I've been talking about it as the week that doesn't exist. The other weird thing about this week is I never know if places are open or closed. I tried to go to the grocery store on Christmas Day. On Christmas Day. I tried to go to the grocers on the Christmas Day in the early afternoon, but they were closed. And when I got there, I was like, yeah, no duh. It's Christmas. I thought maybe there was a chance. Why didn't you just Google it first? I did Google it first, smarty pants. It said Christmas Day might affect these hours, but it's open right now. Turns out they didn't let Google know, which is fair. They were probably busy celebrating the holidays with their loved ones, as is their prerogative and right. Went to the groceries on Boxing Day. On Boxing Day. It was open, but some places are closed on Boxing Day. Yesterday was the 28th. Kate and I were, you know, after the game, we were like, do you want to go out to eat? We went out to eat. The restaurant was like, you're lucky you came today. We're closed on the 24th, the 25th, the 26th, the 27th, the 29th, the 30th, the 31st, and the 1st. It's like, you're only open December 28th? Very strange. In that case, I'm like, first off, it was delicious. But secondly, you should have given your employees the 28th off. Giving them one work day in the middle of a series of days off is basically just like, yeah, you got days off, but you can't go anywhere. It's like being on house arrest, but also vacation. You're not in jail, but you can't leave. So I don't know, man. Like, tomorrow's December 30th. People are really going to work. I think they are, for the record. Are they really going to work on December 30th? Then taking the 31st and the 1st off, unless they work retail or, you know, dining? I guess so. Then you go to work on the 2nd? I mean, you know my philosophy. I'm always down for holiday simplification. I understand that it's, you know, Christmas is in its own way both a secular and a religious observance. You know what I mean? Like, it's a religious observance, but it also has, you know, it's got carryover into the secular world. So I have a feeling that if I were a politician and I was like, I would make Christmas the final Saturday in December, I would probably lose a certain demographic's vote. But I am also like, hey man, I guess you would make it a Friday. That way you get the guaranteed 3-day weekend. But also feel like a lot of people would be for that. I mean, just to be honest with you, I think every holiday should be a Friday or a Monday. As long as we're sticking to this this 5-day work week. I mean, I was talking about it in GeoGuessr with Sinvicta, but I'm like, man. I don't have the most internet-y opinions about all, like, you know, labor issues. I would say I'm, you know, somewhere in the middle. Enlightened, you might say. But the 4-day work week, in my very limited occupational experience, consider me a huge proponent of that. I can't speak for every job, obviously. I mean, if I only worked 4 days, I would get a lot less done. But that's because literally, like, every moment I spend working results in something being produced, if that makes sense. I'm sure there's a lot of jobs out there like that, but I've worked jobs previously in my life where, you know, a lot of the time that you spend in the office is not actually contributing to anything for the business at all, just because you don't have that much business coming in, right? I feel like a 4-day work week, even if you didn't make it 10-hour days and you were just, like most people, I'm sure, if you were like, would you rather work 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, or like, you know, 9 to 6 Monday to Thursday? That doesn't really work out. Let's say 9 to 7 Monday to Thursday, and then have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. I mean, you'd have to be some kind of masochist, I think, to... I don't like to work that late. The sun will go down. You get a whole freaking extra day off. Plus, you know, after 5, nobody's going to do anything anyway. They're all tired. But there have been studies, and I don't know, like, I hate when people just say, studies have shown. But I've seen anecdotally headlines, so I could be wrong. But anecdotally headlines that were like, you know, a study into the 4-hour work week, or sorry, the 4-day work week, I should say, has gone to, it showed that productivity stayed the same or even went up for most workers. And I'm like, yeah, because, you know, a lot of the time in that 5-day work week, wasn't getting anything done, you know? You spent a lot of time just refreshing your email inbox, checking your voicemail, shooting the breeze at the water cooler, etc., etc. I mean, some of the jobs that I had in university, to be honest, I could have done a 1-day work week. I would have been working my butt off from 8:30 to 4:30. But I could have probably accomplished like 80% of my week's work in a single day. To be fair, part of the reason for that is because they didn't give me any serious work because I was, you know, a temp. But anyway. As always, I don't say this just to pander to my audience, but my honest interpretation, my sentiment always, sometimes people are like, NL, you're ignorant of the occupational realities of the world. I do agree with that, which is why I'm going to distill this down to its most basic principles. Generally speaking, I think YouTubers and streamers could work both smarter and harder, and I wish that quote-unquote normal people or people with more normal occupations didn't have to work so hard. People sometimes, you know, they talk to me and they go, oh, you work so hard. Or they'll make a post on my subreddit and be like, NL has an incredible work ethic. I do think I do. Like when people are, you know how in a job interview everybody lies and they're like, I'm a self-starter with good time management skills. Believe it or not, that one's true for me. You know, no boss has been breathing down my neck being like, hey, make a bunch of videos every single day for the next 7 years and also stream on top of that. You know? That's been me. My anxiety is my boss. Great mug. That's a great mug right there. Maybe we'll do merch in 2022. Don't get your hopes up. But you know, the truth of the matter is that my job is pretty easy because, like, you know, yeah, this Isaac episode got the cortisol levels up a little bit for me personally, but at the same time after this, I get to go get some lunch. You know, I could take a 45-minute break right now if I want to. I have to work till 1 a.m. But hey, anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time. See ya!